and you get to this goal of whatever you said the number was, and then you have nothing left to shoot for, right? It's kind of like a dead end.
The slower you lose the weight, the more likely you are to keep the weight off. So people aren't as excited. So if I say, I got the great diet, it's going to allow you to lose probably 5 to 10 pounds a month. And someone else says, mine loses 20 pounds a month. Their diet looks better. Mine is better because you slowly lose the weight and keep it off. But theirs, it makes them feel better. Every week they're looking in the mirror and they're like, wow, look at the changes. Problem is, it doesn't work forever. So the problem is trying to convince people to take your time, lose the weight slowly, and not go for that dream physique, that 6-pack of abs, because once you get there, you're not going to be happy anyway. And telling people, don't go for that goal, go halfway there. That's discouraging. A lot of people have hated on me for that, because I keep telling me, imagine your dream physique, wake up. You're not getting it. You're not getting your dream physique. Go halfway there. And it's like, no, shoot for the stars and reach the moon. I'm like, no, shoot for the moon and reach the moon. So I think that's the really big problem. People just don't want to stick it out and take their time with things. We want it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to hear don't go for the dream package when I look at you and you have the dream package. So you've gone there, you know how much hard work it is. But I think it's the most rational position to take. My dream package, my dream body isn't going to look like yours because I did a lot more damage. I have a lot of loose skin and a lot of other issues that I'm dealing with. But when I got down to my lowest, I just know that like I did a cut and a prep week and had vascularity over my abs, which was wild to see. And I was miserable. I was so fatigued. When I'd try to flex, I would almost pass out. Like my vision would get dark. I had low blood pressure. I had no energy at all. And then the day I did a photo shoot, I ate some food and gained 9 pounds. I put salt back into my diet. And I was like, I don't know that getting to that point, which was fun, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm sure I'll do it again in my life, but it's so hard. And then I have vascularity in my abs, and it's like, there's no way to sustain this. It's just not in the cards. Like I would be miserable and focused on it all the time.
My dream physique would be Chris Bumstead. 4 or 5% body fat, Mr. Olympia, looking fantastic. And I look pretty good now. For most people, if they could look the way I did, they'd be probably more than satisfied. The problem is you're never satisfied. When I was a younger kid, I thought, I want to be 160 shredded. That would be like my dream. That's my fan. And I got there. I did it. And then when I got to I want 170 ripped, 170. And then it kept going. I was never happy. I'm like, I just want a pro card. When I won my pro card, I want to win a pro show. When I broke a Canadian record in the bench, I want the world record. You're never satisfied. So, and what you just described, you used to be 550 pounds, and I believe you got down to 215 with all the bike riding you did and stuff. You did exactly what I would have done for a bodybuilding prep. You did the same thing, the same suffering you did to get to and I saw your pictures. There's friggin' shreds in the legs, vascularity. You were ripped. So you had the same suffering that I had. And so it's not sustainable. When I diet to my peak form, I'm just under 5% body fat, miserable. I feel horrible. If you paid me $1 billion to look like that, I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, there's no way. I do it for competition for a week. But if I had to sustain that, my life would be absolute misery. So it's just not worth it. So I preach, halfway. I'm halfway right now. I would like to be 5%. I'm closer to 9 to 10. But if I let myself go and just ate, it'd probably be 15 to 20% because my genetics are pretty good. I could sustain that if I ate whatever I want. So I preach, halfway there, something sustainable where you're making some sacrifices, but not too many that life sucks.
Yeah, some effort, like, especially for me who comes from being morbidly obese, and many people who I talk to who are confronting massive weight loss. I think finding some equilibrium there is really, really a good place to be. Some effort is maybe required forever. Like you talk about, find the diet you can do for the rest of your life, because you've mindlessly put effort into building your body huge with fat, right? There has been effort towards that. So it's going to require some effort, but I like what you're saying about halfway there. It doesn't have to be so extreme.
And the beauty about halfway there is once you get halfway, you've got it. you can go for it again. You can go halfway to your dream again. Just keep going halfway, because you'll never approach your actual dream. You'll never actually get it, because if you did get that dream, it's not your dream anymore. If your dream was, I want to win $1 million, or I want 1 million followers on YouTube, or I want to be a famous movie star, it's never enough. You reach that and you're like, now what? You know, the dopamine rush of being that in that hit movie or that TV series. And then it's like, I love this feeling. I want more of it. It's never going to be enough.
Yeah. I think that's probably just human nature, right? That we always want more. I haven't, I think the other thing is maybe, and this might tie into people doing diets too quickly. It's like, once you get to the point where you make some goal, like I want to be X pounds, I want to do it as quickly as possible, and you're, you know, killing yourself at 500 calories a day or whatever it is, or just doing hours and hours of cardio, and you get to this goal of whatever you said the number was, and then you have nothing left to shoot for, right? It's kind of like a dead end.
Yeah, it's like doing a bodybuilding show. There is so much motivation to get to the stage. I can suffer through anything. I'm hungry all day. I feel like garbage. I can't sleep 2-3 hours a night. I feel horrible, but I know I have that show and that goal. But then once you do the show, whether you win or lose, it's kind of like postpartum depression. It's like, now what? You actually feel depressed. You've done the show. Maybe you're Chris Bumstead. You won the Mr. Olympia. Then what? It's like, well, I just spent 4 months of my life, everything geared to this goal. I did it. Celebrate. Yeah. A couple days. It's great. And then what? And then you gain the fat again. And then the cycle continues up and down, yo-yo dieting. That's why I'm so much against the bulk and cut theory, or that bulking and cutting, because you bulk up, you gain some fat, and you're not as happy with how you look. And then you say, I got to cut. And then you get to your look, and then you're like, now I got to bulk again, rather than just, I'm going to maintain this weight like what I am now, and I'm always going to be happy. I look in the mirror every day. I'm happy with how I look, and I have other goals. I'm going to get faster on my bike. I'm going to try to lift more weight. I'm going to try to build more muscle, but I'm not going to worry about trying to shoot for this unsustainable percentage of body fat that I think people need to see just because the social media said so.
Yeah. Well, I've done exactly one quote unquote bulk in my life after I lost a bunch of weight. And then I was like, I'm going to put on some muscle. Right. And I was really unhappy kind of the whole time, because the habits of overeating are really kind of feel dangerous to me. And they are literally dangerous to me. So it's not something I think for somebody who has had massive weight loss, or is going to confront massive weight loss, the idea of then doing these kind of bodybuilder bulks, I would go into very, very cautiously, because you are suddenly, you know, it's different from maintenance, where you're like, this is how much fuel my body needs to survive, to I need a big surplus of calories in order to build muscle. It is kind of like slipping back into habits almost.
I think people would be absolutely shocked to see that I was one of the worst eaters you would have ever met growing up. I ate worse than all my friends. It was all, if it wasn't chips or deep fried chicken nuggets or deep fried French fries and the leftovers, I deep fry them again. I ate all shit, and I had a horrible, diet overall. It was just bad donuts. The reason I was in shape is because I was doing 5 hours of cardio a day. I was training for triathlons. I was athlete of the year. I was involved in all sports. I burn off the 5,000 or 6,000 calories a day. I was eating all crap every day. Then I got into bodybuilding competitions. I'd lose the weight, gain the weight, lose weight, did all that stuff. And I eventually got used to eating a certain way, pretty healthy. I got used to the foods, because after you get away from eating ice cream all the time, it comes easier. It gets easier. Your body adapts to how you're eating.